Thank you, delegates. It's such an honor to be re-elected as your Secretary-Treasurer. I'm humbled that you place trust in me for another 2 years. This is a responsibility that I do not take lightly, and I will represent you with the utmost transparency and boldness. This afternoon, the union that began in a 5-room bungalow in Chicago lives on. 100 years later, at the AFT, we're 1.6 million union members strong and a union of professionals. And this week, we have reaffirmed our commitment to reclaim the promise from generation to generation. And more importantly, we all leave this convention hall charged with energy, the necessity to take back public schools, our hospitals, our colleges, our university, our correctional centers, and our communities for the better. For the past 2 years, we as a union have taken brave and bold steps to ensure that every community is safe and welcoming. And we have made progress. Each and every day, I get the opportunity to work with our president and my friend, Randi. Her forward thinking, her dedication, and her strong solution-driven union have moved our union forward and made us very strong. I am proud to be a part of this union. I love her. I love her. She has achieved much. We've taken some losses, but not many. But yet we continue to fight. And I'd like to say to my friend over there, Mary Cathryn Ricker, our newly elected Executive Vice President, the past 2 years that you have joined our fight, her energy, her strength, her dedication to the union, and most importantly, her youth. Have been an incredible watch for us. She's a breath of fresh air, and everywhere she goes, she's a courageous warrior. And in the last 2 years, is any evidence of what she's going to achieve, I can't see what happens the next 2 years. You know, the fight to reclaim the promise has been 100 years in the making, and that means we cannot waver, and make sure that every child, no matter what the zip code they live in, gets an amazing public education. And let us not lose the faith in our fight to ensure Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ lives matter, and working families matter. Brothers and sisters, it is always darkest before the dawn, and that means we must work together, fight together, stand together so we can win together. And based on what I've seen this week, I'm 200% sure that we'll win. So my name is Lorretta Johnson, and I'm reporting for duty.
Thank you so much for your trust in me to be a voice alongside you. To, as Paul Wellstone used to say, improve people's lives. Thank you, Randi and Lorretta. It is a privilege to serve with both of you. My dad congratulates you both as well this morning. We should all be so fortunate to work alongside our sheroes. We should all work to make sure we are working alongside our sheroes and heroes. They are great partners in fighting this dominant union or worker narrative we are up against. We've all been on the receiving end of it. Randi maybe most so on Twitter, and appreciate those of you who step in. But the shots I've taken personally include the well-meaning but patronizing, "What a great profession to be in since you're a mom, Mary Cathryn, so you can have vacation when your kids have vacation," to the intentionally demeaning those who can't teach, and worse. But I am happy to tell you, I am done being defined by someone else's story of me and of us. It is time for us to tell our own stories. A story that says the most powerful relationship in public education is between an educator and a student, or the most powerful relationship in healthcare is between a nurse and a patient. A story that says we are preparing college students for a world we do not know, and yet they will lead, and we will not crush them with debt. A story that says paraprofessionals are workers who offer essential expertise in our schools. A story that says school support staff, like cafeteria workers, bus drivers, janitors, all play a critical role in making our schools healthy, happy, and safe places for our children to thrive. A story that elevates partnerships with parents, families, and community because we refuse to let that dominant narrative divide us from our most natural allies. A story that says public services are a public good, and the people who deliver them are deserving of our respect and support. A story that names our union, the American Federation of Teachers, as a powerful force for equity, innovation, and justice. This is a true story. It's not fiction. It's our story. There is a fictional story of us that keeps us nameless and faceless in order to vilify us as teachers, paraprofessionals, public employees, faculty, staff, nurses, healthcare workers, and we will refuse to be nameless and faceless. They profit by keeping us nameless and faceless so that we have to spend all of our energy fighting their story of us rather than elevate our story of ourselves. It is one where we do not have to justify our commitment to our students, to our patients, or to their families, or to our neighbors. Let us step up to this story of us as our new commitment coming out of this convention. Our definition of professionalism that is not steeped in the coded language of you are not white enough, or you are not Christian enough, or you are not male enough, or you are not heterosexual enough to do this work. A definition, our definition, that is steeped in improving people's lives by elevating the equity and dignity in our work and the work of all of those alongside us. We will be clear-eyed about what our school, campus, hospital, clinic, or neighborhood community needs for us. So let us stand so that we will be seen. Let us stand so that we will be heard. Let us stand so we will be believed. Let us stand together to reclaim the promise of public education, of healthcare, of higher education, of public services for everyone. Thank you so much. They're all yours.
So, you see why I love working with these two women who have sacrificed much, who have been an incredible team, as we have seen the tide turn in public education towards what we believe in and we know is right. As we've seen the tide turn, but tides don't just turn one way. They can turn many different ways, back and forth. And so, on this, the end of our convention celebrating our 100th year, look, I am honored and humbled by the vote of confidence you gave to not only all three of us, but to our entire slate of vice presidents. And we will try, and I will try to earn that confidence every single day. And before I say anything more, I just want to thank the sergeants at arms have been amazing. I want to thank them. I want to thank the committee chairs and their secretaries. I want to thank the worksite leaders. I want to thank the delegates. I want to thank our staff, including the people who ran this convention, including the people who kept on writing and ensuring that we could see what we saw on the screens, in particular Matt and Jen and Tish and Kitty, and my staff and all the staff. I want to thank the elected leaders. I want to thank all of you. I already thanked the people who were working in the hall, and I'm sure I've forgotten 100 people, and my apologies. It's been an amazing convention, from Ed, Minnesota to Minneapolis, and I know that the folks in Pittsburgh are taking lots of different notes and are going to make sure we have an amazing convention in Pittsburgh in 2 years. This is what I want to say to you as we start seeing Solidarity Forever. Our union is a vehicle for improving our lives, our families' lives, and the lives of all people in all our communities. It is the union movement that has economically made a difference in the lives of America and in creating, when it did, the biggest, most impressive middle class in the world. What you've done in the last few days and in the work leading up to this is that you did that over and over again in the resolutions and in the business we did. You saw it, and you have passed a resolution to lean in and ensure that the Every Student Succeeds Act works for students, parents, community, and of course, the educators in not only this room, but throughout the country, so that we could actually do the job that we love doing for the kids we love serving. You saw it in the resolutions to put patients before profits by fighting hospital consolidations and ending the grotesque profiteering of prescription drug costs. We saw it, and you saw it, in the resolution to make student debt reduction real, the one that brought all of our different groups together in one omnibus resolution that says we want to make sure that college is not just affordable, but real for all students in America. And we saw it together in the resolutions not only to make our streets safe for everyone, not only to make our schools and our country safe for our LGBTQ members, but to confront discrimination in every form and in every form it takes. I probably need a glass of water right now. Or gin, exactly. I know we got a lot of work we got to do at the bargaining table in the next 2 years. I know we got a lot of work that we got to do in communities in the next 2 years. But the biggest fight we have is in the next 4 months. In the rest of July, in August, in September, in October, and in the first few days of November. Because as we've been laying out a vision that goes to our aspirations, that goes to our hopes, that fights discrimination and fights hate, there's been another convention happening in Cleveland. And that convention they're normally pretty different than ours, but this time there's a fundamental difference, because that convention's central message is fear. They don't even have and are not even articulating a message of what they would do to move the country forward. It is only about fear and hate. And that starts with the person who was nominated to be their presidential candidate. Donald Trump is normalizing fear. He's normalizing hate. They've made hate and division a primetime event on the big stage. We saw this before in terms of their rhetoric about immigrants and people of color, Muslims, but nothing has been more toxic than their attacks on women, and in particular, one woman in particular. Chris Christie led the crowds in a chant. This is the guy who wants to be Attorney General. This is the guy who I am told is this close to be indicted himself. He led the crowd in cheers of, quote, "lock her up." Another Trump surrogate called for her to be put on a firing line and shot. Did the Trump campaign denounce any of this? No. They couldn't even find a way, that guy who tweets every single moment of his life, they couldn't even find a way to, in 140 characters, condemn the death threats against the other presumptive nominee of the other political party. So, my brothers and sisters, my friends, my allies, my colleagues here, yes, our job in November is to elect our candidate, whose name I will say in a minute. But we also have another job, which is to resoundingly reject the party that is explicitly normalizing violence, misogyny, hate, racism, Islamophobia, homophobia, and nativism. It is our job not just to disarm hate, but to reject it resoundingly everywhere we see, including at the top of that ticket. And the way we do that is to elect Hillary Rodham Clinton, the next president of the United States. And with that, we will reclaim the promise of America and all of the different resolutions that we mightily worked to pass here. Thank you very much, everyone, and please get home safely. Have a great rest of the summer, and will you work? Will you work? Will we elect Hillary president? Will we elect pro-democratic, pro-union, pro-public services, pro-education, pro-healthcare people to elected office? And with that, we are adjourned.